Hello, this is Richard Johnson from RJ Consulting, and I wanted to talk to you today about library parts. Library parts allow the connection from virtual reality in your CAD software to real life parts that you can purchase. And one of the things that I've been noticing is how bill of materials are generated. Now, on very expensive, multi-$1,000 worth of software, it generates the bill of materials for you as long as you enter in their information. But I have Eagle, and Eagle is not thousands of dollars of software, and so therefore it does not include, by default, the ability to generate bill of materials. And I've seen people generate them by hand by doing a text file export and things like that, but it's prone to error, as I've felt in the past. And if you have thousands of parts on your board, it's 1,000 times you have to go through it. On top of that, what if you have a change at the last minute and now part names and numbers and quantities have changed? You have to go through the bill of materials that you just spent hours creating and basically almost have to redo it to make sure it's accurate. And it has to be accurate for the CMs to build your board correctly. They're going to only rely on the documents you provide them. They're not going to know that you made a mistake. And that could cost you hours and money. So one of the things I've found is basically doing an addendum to Eagle and installing a database, and I put that in quotes because it's not a true database as like SQL Server or something like that, but a text file nonetheless, and a ULP file for Eagle to mash a bill of material manager and Eagle CAD libraries. And I want to show you the first step of that today. So the first step is a Python file. I'm a kind of a Python fan as a prototyping software, just get things done quickly. And this is a great example of it. And this is actually from the internet. I can't credit myself for writing this because I did not write this piece of software. But you can easily find it. So all you have to do is search add DK part to BOM-EX. Not dot, but /ex. If you search it on Google, you'll easily find it. It's a downloadable. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to implement because you have to download Beautiful Soup, and there's a couple other things I forget. It was a long time ago when I got this all set up. But once you get it all set up, it's really actually quite easy. So, by default, this works pretty good. But DigiKey has been updating the way that their websites work. And so I had to do some amendments, and I'll explain how the interface to DigiKey works, but just so you know, just to make sure the system works reliably, I added 2 lines of code to this as it is off the internet, and that's reload system right here, and then system default encoding. Apparently in Windows 8 that I'm running, Windows 10 I'm running this, or I'm not exactly sure why. It's supposed to be UTF-8 by default, but you have to implicitly state it here. So I did, and I've had no issues with this software. So this is basically just a Python file, and what it does is it generates a DigiKey URL, as you can see right here, amends the DigiKey part number to the URL, and then goes to the website and acts like a spider and grabs all the data off the website and then puts it into a database text file. As you can see, I have a couple different database files that I use depending on what I'm working on, and I just keep them listed here because then I don't have to retype them every time. So they're in different locations at different areas. So it's pretty easy. This is the simplest part of the whole thing, to be honest, because it's just plug and play. But I'll show you an example of it working nonetheless. So right here I have a command prompt open, and that is really the easiest way to interface uh, with this app. And what I've done is I just write Python, and then the Python script it's running, add tgk part to BOM/EX.py, and I keep this on my desktop so it's really easy to run. And I'll show you. Just Control Enter, uh, Shift Control. There it goes. Okay, it's Shift click and then right click and then open command window, and then it goes to desktop. I type in Python and then add tab, then it comes up, and then I'm ready to do this. And I just keep this open when I'm generating a library parts, and then I can just immediately add them to the database file by default. So I'm gonna just grab right here the digit key part number, add this to the end of that file, and click enter. As you can see, it parsed the website and grabbed all the pertinent information for this part, and then if it didn't come back with anything else, it has successfully saved it to the database file. The database file is on my storage drive, and I'll show you what it looks like. In the next installment, I'll talk about how to create this, but I'll show it to you what this looks like. So you can see that it's a huge list of parts that I've came up with, and it saves it by manufacturer part number, manufacturer name, vendor ID, that's the vendor it's coming from, vendor part number, and description of the part and the package code.